Today we're going to talk about what I think is the best way to perform self-massage on the anterior abdominal muscles and the hip flexors. The reason we talk about the hip flexors constantly is because they're such an overused muscle in today's society, from sitting, and just really they're such a deep muscle. As you can see on bones here, they actually start right here in the front of the low back. Now a lot of people think low back, they think, back here, but this is the posterior low back and here is the anterior low back. So these muscles actually start here at around L2 area. They go into that hip flexor, the ilium, and down into the femur there. So it's so deep. So you can see it's so hard to self-massage. But I found a very comfortable way to do it. And it actually feels good. A lot of people just like to hang or have traction. It feels good on the lower back. So I've talked about kind of laying in this position in the past, just to let that lower back traction. But a way you can really get into the hip flexor area very comfortably and relax a sore back is by using the supernova or a softball, which is about the same height. And what you're going to do is place it into the hip flexor. The only thing you want to be careful of in this area is right down the midline is your aorta. You don't want to put pressure on that. But just about an inch out from the belly button on either side is where you can start. And you can get on that rectus abdominis, the abdominals, and a little further out is where you're going to hit into that psoas and into the iliacus, the hip flexor here. So I like to start about there and get into this position. And it really allows you to get some deep, deep pressure into that hip flexor. You can see I'm putting the ball kind of on the corner of that table. So you can use any table that has that flat surface, kind of hard. A bed might be a little too soft, but you're basically just going to lay on here. And I like to bring my knee a little closer to get more pressure. And basically I'm going to start on the rectus abdominis. I can move over and get onto that hip flexor. And if I even want to get on those obliques, those kind of lateral muscles here, I can bring the ball further out lateral and rotate away from the ball and really kind of put pressure on there. So while I'm on here, I just want to take some nice, slow, deep breaths in, breathe out. And every time I'm breathing out, I'm letting that ball sink in deeper into that hip flexor. Overall, I'm going to lay on each muscle for about 2 minutes until I feel that those muscles start to soften up. One other thing that you can do on that hip flexor, which I think is probably the most powerful thing that you can do out of this whole talk here, is basically a self-pin and stretch. We do active release technique in this office, and this is similar to that, but with a ball. So you're going to get onto that hip flexor area, get that pressure on there, shorten the muscle, and then actually stretch it through its range of motion. So you're pinning it down and really elongating. It should feel a little bit uncomfortable, but by the time you're done, you should feel a big increase in the range of motion and a decrease in lower back pain.